All right, if we're ready to go, feel free to guys to take notes. And I'm sure you'll have questions. You can always put them in the chat, and if we don't answer them while we're doing the presentation in the chat, we'll go ahead and at the top of the hour, which would be 8 p.m. Eastern time, we'll open it up for questions, and we'll answer all the questions that were put in the chat and anyone who wants to talk live and so on. So I think we just need to get started and let's get rolling. Hello there, welcome everyone. I'm Michael Poggi. I'm the owner and founder of the Millionaires Real Estate Investment Group and Build Wealth with Land LLC. I have a question for each and every one of you. What if I told you that losing everything, including my multi-million-dollar business, my home, and even my private animal sanctuary was the best thing that ever happened to me? I know that sounds extreme, but stick with me for the next 90 minutes, and I'm going to show you how this terrible experience forced me to develop a tax-free formula that allowed me to rebuild my wealth at levels I could never possibly imagine. But first, I'd like to know, where are you joining me from today? Please go ahead and drop it in the chat right now and let me know what city or state you're coming from. And one quick housekeeping note, this is a private master class, and this presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment, financial, legal, or tax advice. But believe it or not, we've had uninvited guests and bots try to hop on these calls. So I need everyone, please, to keep your camera on and make sure your name is displayed properly. To turn on your camera, just click the icon at the bottom of your screen, and to update your name, click the three dots, select rename, and type in your full name, please. I hate to have to enforce this rule, but if your name isn't updated in the next 2 minutes, we'll have to remove you from the call. We need to ensure that only invited guests are on this call. Okay, let's get started. As I mentioned, I'm Michael Poggi, and today I'm going to teach you the Build Wealth Tax-Free Profit Formula, how to create financial freedom by investing in vacant lots, delivering impressive returns, long-term appreciation, and tax-free passive income without having to research properties or fly around the country or deal with tenants or construction headaches or make large cash investments. So who is this for? This is for busy professionals and business owners who want to build wealth but don't have time to manage traditional real estate. It's also for stock market investors frustrated with volatility and looking for more stable tax-advantaged returns. It's also for pre-retirees looking to accelerate their retirement timeline and create passive income. It's also for IRA and 401k plan or stock brokerage account holders who want to maximize tax-free growth and reduce risk through strategic real estate. It's also for anyone with $5,000 to $100,000 or more who are ready for a simple, hands-off approach to building wealth. But this presentation is not for land flippers, get-rich-quick seekers, day traders, or full-time real estate investors. Here's what we're going to cover today. First, the 3 common mistakes that prevents people from building wealth. Then I'll show you how to overcome these mistakes by using my tax-free profit formula. And we'll finish with a plan to help you build wealth and financial freedom. But let me start by saying this. Building wealth through real estate doesn't come from taking on more risk, and it doesn't come from managing more properties or dealing with more tenants, more headaches, and it's not about pouring money into renovations or chasing hot markets or burning money trying to find deals. Trust me, I know, because I've tried it all. But too often, these are the things that investors focus on. And it seems logical, but you're going to learn the hard way, just like I did. It's just not worth the hassle. The truth is, you're supposed to be an investor, not a contractor, not a property manager, and not a plumber or a roofer. The secret to building wealth through real estate isn't more complications. It's really simplification. So focus on the right opportunity, the ones that yield the highest returns with the lowest involvement. Work smarter, not harder. This principle applies to all investing. But what most financial advisors and stockbrokers won't tell you is that the traditional way of investing typically takes much longer, sometimes decades longer, and may keep you working way longer than you expected. These advisors and stockbrokers aren't bad people, but let's be honest. They make a profit from keeping you in a system that rarely builds financial freedom or just takes too damn long. How do I know this? Years ago, I was a stockbroker for almost a decade, and my wealthy clients, they knew this, and they showed me a better way. So I actually learned from my wealthy clients, investing in the right kind of real estate at the right time. But I had to lose everything before I actually finally listened to them. When I finally did it, and I put the system in place, the returns for me have been absolutely incredible. Now, the results may not be typical, and individual outcomes may vary based on market conditions, effort, and other factors. But I'm going to walk you through the system step by step. Well, you may not know this about me, but I'm an animal lover, and I own a private animal sanctuary in South Florida. But my journey started as a young man downtown Chicago, where I got a job as a stockbroker, and my mission was very simple: get wealthy clients to invest money with me in stocks and mutual funds. So I would call my clients and spend more time with them. And I started to ask them questions like, hey, you sent me $500,000 to invest in stocks and mutual funds, but you have a $10 million net worth. Where is the rest of the money going? So almost every time they would laugh at me. Why? Because they kept 95% of their wealth in real estate and only 5% of their wealth in stocks and mutual funds. And they told me flat out, Michael, stock investing is for gamblers. It's way too slow and way higher risk for building real wealth. Meanwhile, my family's business was really taking off. My parents owned a business called the Chicago Haircutting Company, and they had 21 hair salons, and they were located all over Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. And they brought in my brother and I together, and we grew the chain of salons to 51 salons. When they sold the business, my parents retired in their 50s. I set out to replicate the success. So I built a chain of 21 sun tanning salons in South Florida that were doing $100,000 a month in net income. So I was living large. I had built a $4.5 million business, and I had an offer to buy me out. And then Hurricane Wilma wiped me out in 2005. The hurricane destroyed everything. All 21 salons were shut down, power loss, broken windows, smashed roofs. So the $4.5 million buyout vanished overnight. My home was destroyed. I mean, a total policy wipeout. Literally, completely destroyed. Trees crashed through my roof. My family nearly died in the house. The hurricane destroyed my private animal sanctuary. Half my animals were killed. Animals were running around the neighborhood. It was an absolute disaster. What a mess. It was the most heartbreaking thing that I've ever gone through. So I was at the lowest point of my life. So imagine this. I was almost 40 years old, and I had lost everything, absolutely everything. And insurance didn't cover the hurricane damage because it was a hurricane. And worse yet, I still had to pay salaries while the business was still open. I had to pay rent, and I had to pay $450,000 in refunds to people who had bought sun tanning packages. And worse yet, I owed the IRS back taxes from payroll taxes, etc. So all of my personal savings, all of my net worth, all of my spare cash, all gone. Completely wiped out, done. Like starting over from a 16-year-old kid. I was scared, I was depressed, and I was forced into filing bankruptcy. The worst possible thing that could happen to me after so much success for so many years. So that's when I was faced with the question, how am I going to build my wealth back after all of that? And how do I build it back fast? That was the hardest part. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. So I went back to my roots. So what I didn't mention earlier is that before I was a stockbroker in Chicago, I worked for a builder as a young kid, and I learned construction. I learned everything about construction because they had me pretty much do everything. I eventually became a successful builder, and I started to build houses and flip houses. And I had bought and sold over 450 vacant lots. So in 2005, after losing everything, I was desperate to get it back going again. In the next part of our workshop, I'm going to walk you through my vacant lot investing formula, step by step, the system that provides all the tax advantages, passive income, and wealth building power of real estate without the mistakes that I made along the way. This formula took me 7 years to perfect and cost me millions of dollars of trial and error. So I'm going to give you 8 strategies that allowed me to rebuild my wealth by investing in vacant lots in fast-growing resort communities, the exact criteria that I use to identify which vacant lots are most likely to provide the greatest returns with the least amount of effort, and how to generate both appreciation and passive income, and how to grow your investments 100% tax-free using a self-directed real estate IRA. And lastly, how you can do this all from anywhere in the United States using a laptop. And be sure to stay until the end, because I'm going to answer all the common questions and show you how to get involved in this amazing opportunity. Okay, with that out of the way, let's deep dive in to my strategy number 1. So starting from scratch, after Hurricane Wilma, I knew that the only way to become super wealthy again was through investing in real estate. Now, why real estate? Because after working as a stockbroker for nearly 9 years, I saw how many people lose money in the stock market or never get ahead. Too many investors got to the retirement age with only $500,000 net worth. You can't retire on $500,000. It's just not enough. These were good people who followed traditional advice, but they could not build enough net worth to live the rest of their life from just stocks and mutual funds. So meanwhile, my wealthiest clients kept just 5% in stocks and mutual funds and 95% of their money in real estate. So they taught me 4 unfair advantages that real estate investing offers. So number 1 is leverage. You can control $500,000 in real estate with just a $100,000 down payment. That immediately multiplies your investment power. You can't do that with stocks and mutual funds. You have to invest dollar for dollar. So 100 grand in mutual funds, you have to put up 100 grand. So in fact, when I started, I leveraged just $500 in my IRA to buy my first $5,000 property. That's the power of leverage. Number 2 is tax benefit. The interest deductions and depreciation write-offs reduce or eliminate your tax burden legally. That you really can't do with stocks and mutual funds either. Passive income, number 3. Unlike stocks that might pay small dividends, real estate can generate significant monthly cash flow. Number 4 is stability. Real estate typically has less volatility than the stock market and is a solid asset. So let me show you the dramatic difference. $100,000 in stocks at 8% growth will become $215,000 after 10 years. If you put the same $100,000 as a down payment on a $500,000 property that appreciates at only 5% annually, you could have approximately $814,000 in property value, which is a $414,000 increase in equity after 10 years, and that's not including the rental income. So that's the power of leverage, and that's exactly why my wealthy clients laughed at me when I asked them to invest more money into stocks and mutual funds. But here's the thing, not all real estate is created equal. And after my bankruptcy, I tried everything. I flipped many houses. I raised money for apartment buildings. I built new construction homes, and I explored different investment properties. So I made way too many mistakes, like building too large of a house, or taking on too many projects at one time, or building in the wrong place at the wrong time. These were painful lessons. Even though I made money, they came with lots of aggravation and massive headache. I needed a simpler approach, less headaches with less complications. This realization led to my second strategy, and that was vacant lots, which became the foundation for rebuilding my wealth. Why? Because vacant lots solve every problem that makes traditional real estate a pain in the neck. For example, no construction headaches or contractor delays, no tenant issues or maintenance calls, no property management responsibilities, no insurance claims to worry about, no financing complications, and instead of managing the properties, I could focus on investing instead. And land is consistently being bought and built on. That's simply how development works. No matter what economic cycle we're in, land generally appreciates over time. So I started investing in vacant lots because of their low volatility, affordable entry point, often starting less than 10 grand, and tremendous upside potential. When bought in the right areas, like resort areas, these lots would typically double in value in roughly 5 years. So that was making me about 20% a year without the stress of traditional real estate. But I also learned something else. In a regular boring subdivision that's not in a resort, when I would go to sell the lot later on down the road, my only buyers would be people that want to build a house. So after the Great Recession, I started practicing by investing in different areas, by doing research to find where are the fastest growing resort communities in the country. And one of the ones that came up first was a location called Lago Vista, which is in Austin, Texas. So this breakthrough, learning about resort communities, was dramatic. These communities offered lakes and golf courses, hiking trails, and tons of amenities like swimming pools, fitness centers, all kinds of neat things. Suddenly, my buyer pool wasn't just limited to people who wanted to build a house, but it expanded to investors looking for appreciation, people wanting a vacation property, or looking for a weekend getaway, future retirees, or anyone wanting to access the lifestyle, and they can hold a lot as an investment for long-term appreciation. So the lesson that I learned was resort properties don't need a buyer that just want to build a house. That opened up the doors for so many potential buyers. They're purchased by anyone just wanting to buy a property to use the amenities or to hold for long-term appreciation, or both. So this meant more potential buyers for me, which often means faster sales, higher liquidity, and ultimately stronger appreciation. So think about it. What would sell faster? A boring lot in a boring subdivision where there's no amenities? Or a lot in a resort community that has tons of things to do and that people could buy the lot for all of the amenities and to hold for a long-term investment? So this fundamental shift, moving from regular subdivisions to resort communities, created the foundation for consistent returns with much less hassle. Now, the next strategy, number 3, is my strategic positioning near lakes and golf courses, but not on lakes and golf courses. Now, this may sound strange to you, but it's a mistake to assume that properties on the lakes and golf course give better returns. From my experience, the perfect lot location, one that maximizes both appreciation potential and easy to sell, is not on a lake and not on a golf course. And that's because lots on lakes and golf courses come with serious drawbacks. For example, they require enormous price premiums, often 2 to 3 times higher than a lot that's not on a lake and golf course. They dramatically limit the potential buyer pool when it comes time to sell because they're so much more expensive. They face stricter building restrictions. They carried higher insurance costs and environmental risks. But properties near, but not on the lake or golf course in a resort, are close enough to enjoy all the amenities without paying the high prices that cuts into your returns, which is a much smarter move. Here's an example. I purchased a lot that was not on the lake or the golf courses for around $10,000, while the other lots that were on the lake and golf courses were $65,000. So my lot that I paid $10,000 for still had all access to all the amenities, but was at 1/6 the price. So when it came time to sell, I had a much larger pool of potential buyers because my sale price was so much lower than a lake lot or a golf course lot. And that means that there were way more potential buyers, which helped me to sell the lot faster, which allowed me to reinvest my money back into more vacant lots faster. So meanwhile, lakefront owners that tried to sell their property had to find luxury buyers, which took much longer to sell their property because of the higher price point. So ask yourself, what's the better strategy? Buying one lot for $100 grand on the lake, and then after it appreciates, trying to sell it for $200,000, or buying 10 lots for $10,000 each, and then trying to sell them for $20,000. Which one's easier? On paper, it looks like the reality, a $200,000 lot on the lake could sit there for 2 or 3 years before you find a luxury buyer. Meanwhile, the cheaper lots, the $10,000 lots, may sell faster and allow you to reinvest your money faster. So this isn't theory. This is the cornerstone of my investment strategy. I've done this over and over again, hundreds of times, with quarter-acre buildable vacant lots in resort communities. So this brings me to strategy number 4. One of the core principles of my vacant lot strategy is something many investors struggle with. You don't need to invest where you live. Most investors severely limit their opportunities by restricting themselves to a 30-mile radius from where they live. That's like fishing in a small pond when there's an ocean of opportunities nationwide. This limiting belief is so common, it's usually the first thing that I hear from people. Investors will say to me, Michael, I only want to invest where I live near my home in like Charlotte or California, or I need to be able to drive by and see my property, or I don't feel comfortable buying property I haven't walked on. So what investors don't realize is that investing in vacant lots is perfect for remote investing. So you don't need to visit the property physically because we do that for you. We've done all the due diligence for you. Transactions happen virtually with title companies. There's absolutely no maintenance to oversee. There's no tenants, no property managers to deal with, and no construction to monitor. The great thing about vacant lots is with the right system, it can be done anywhere in the world remotely. So this geographic freedom isn't just convenient, it's a massive game changer and a huge competitive advantage. So when clients insist on properties near their homes, I ask, would you rather own the best investment in America or the mediocre one near your house that you can drive by? By expanding our search nationwide, we have found the best properties at the best price points at the best time to buy. Okay, so my next strategy, number 5, is the growth indicators that predict appreciation. So now that we've expanded our search nationwide, how do we find communities poised for growth? Well, success leaves clues, indicators that reliably signal future appreciation. This pushed me to create a systematic research process. So I don't just guess where I'm going to buy a lot. I have a strict strategy that I follow. I pay professional research companies to find me vacant lots using my exact criteria that I have perfected over the last 25 years. So we use indicators like increasing building permit activity, which shows construction demand. We're looking for roads getting widened, indicating infrastructure investment. We're looking at new school construction, signaling population growth. Maybe more retailers coming in, like a Walmart or a pharmacy, something like that, showing commercial confidence. We're looking for rising rental rates, which demonstrates increasing demand. I focus on established communities only that already have good schools, banks, churches, pharmacies, and all the amenities, grocery stores, so that we're not starting too soon where there's nothing developed in the subdivision. This is totally different from buying cheap lots like in the desert, for example, in Arizona or Nevada, where there's no roads, no utilities, no internet, no development momentum. That's way too soon. Instead, we focus on fast-growing resort communities where research confirms that there's building permits being pulled and construction going on and things that would make the lots potentially increase in value. So I'm not interested in speculation. I want a $10,000 to $20,000 lot in areas with proven growth that will hopefully become $20,000 to $30,000 lots in the next 5 or 10 years. So by being laser focused on these indicators, I can find great opportunities. Now, my strategy number 6 is perfect property selection, which is the right lot at the right time. Okay, now we're 6 strategies in. I really want you to pay attention because I'm going to give you the exact vacant lot profile. So here's my exact, narrow, laser-focused checklist and criteria that every property needs to meet. First thing is, they have to be at least a quarter-acre to 1-acre lot. They can't be too small to build on. They need to be wooded with trees on them. I don't want to have the grass cut every 2 weeks. That adds to my expenses. They must be fully buildable with utilities available nearby. They need to be under $20,000. so they have huge upside potential. They must have low taxes. They must have low carrying costs and must have low cost of living. They need to be located in established resort communities and not be directly on lakes or golf courses. The subdivision is started, but not more than 10% built out yet. And they must have lakes and golf courses and amenities already available. The sweet spot is a 1/4 acre to 1 acre wooded lot that offers natural beauty with no grass to cut and nothing to maintain. So these lots appeal to the largest range of buyers that hit the best price points for the buyer and the seller. But also, you've got to consider timing. You need a fast-growing resort community, so that means not getting in too soon, but also not getting in too late. You see, there's a development cycle sweet spot. Resort communities that are less than 10% built out and nowhere near completion. So you want a community that has enough homes built that proves that it's a viable development, but not too far along, so that it has a lot of upside potential. So this gives you proof that the community concept works. It proves that the community is established and has an infrastructure already in place, that there's core amenity already developed and usable, and plenty of room for appreciation as the community grows, and early enough by getting in early to capture the majority of the appreciation cycle. I've also seen investors enter communities that were already 80 to 90% complete. They were paying top dollar only to capture minimal appreciation as the development wound down. By combining the right lot profile with the right timing, my land investments delivered consistent results. So this is my strategy number 7, which is one of my favorites, which is passive income cash flow by owner financing in a tax-free account. This is one of the most important parts of my system, passive income and tax-free investing. This allows you to earn money twice for every lot. This is through appreciation and interest profits, all tax-free. And here's how this works. First of all, I would buy lots and hold them, letting them appreciate over time. Then I'd become the bank by selling them through owner financing, meaning selling them on terms. The new buyers would make monthly payments every month on time for the lots that they bought from me, and I'd earn an additional 10 to 15% return in interest each year, creating massive passive income. Let me show you what this looks like. Selling a lot for cash compared to owner financing. So with a cash sale, you only get paid once. You sell the lot for cash and you're done. That limits your profit by just selling it for cash. And then the old way of financing, which is not very good, is typically where you got to have 20% down, you got to have excellent credit, there's extensive paperwork, and the approval process is longer. But with my owner financing strategy, you can sell lots with 0 down payment, 100% financing, no credit check whatsoever, everyone approved, and a simple paperwork and fast closing, and we hold the title until final payment comes in. So here's a real example of getting paid twice. I purchased a lot for $10,000. 5 years later, it was worth $20,000. So I sold it with owner financing at 11% interest. By the end, I received my $20,000 principal plus about $7,000 in interest. So basically, I got paid twice. Now, these results may not be typical, and individual outcomes may vary based on market conditions and effort and other factors. Real magic happens when you combine this strategy with a truly self-directed real estate IRA. By using a self-directed real estate IRA, which we call a Roth IRA for vacant lot, you create true tax-free wealth. So what is a truly self-directed IRA? It's not at a brokerage firm or a bank. It's at an administrator that allows you to buy real estate. And so now you can buy real estate that can appreciate without capital gains tax. You can get interest income without getting taxed on that. You can have compounded returns without any tax drag and have tax-free passive income streams for the rest of your life. Using our example, buying a lot for $10,000 that doubles to $20,000 and generates $7,000 in interest would net approximately $16,500 after taxes in an LLC. The exact same investment in a Roth IRA, self-directed Roth IRA, gives you the full $27,000 over 60% more wealth. This combination turns good returns into extraordinary returns, which maximizes and optimizes your results, in my opinion, 10 times faster. So now we're getting to my strategy number 8, which is our done-for-you implementation. After perfecting my vacant lot system, I began sharing these strategies at seminars all around the country, and I created comprehensive courses teaching all of this. But then something unexpected happened. Even though they loved the courses, most people came up to me with a different request. They would say to me, Michael, I don't want to be in the land business. I don't have time. I just want to own some vacant lots. Can you please help me to find good vacant lots for my portfolio? I started helping my family, my friends, and pretty soon I had everybody knocking at my door asking me to help them to find vacant lots for their portfolio. And it kept happening. Busy professionals, doctors, business owners, and real estate investors, they understood the potential, but didn't have time to implement the system because they had their own job. They were busy. One dentist put it perfectly. Michael, I'm a dentist. I don't have time to learn this course. No disrespect, but can you just help me find some lots? I've got an IRA with $120,000 in it at Schwab that I'd love to move to a self-directed IRA and make it a Roth IRA so it's tax-free, and then purchase vacant lots instead of the stocks and mutual funds that I currently have. This changed my thinking. So instead of selling courses to people that didn't have time to do all this stuff, I went ahead and started filling orders and helping other people. So I began offering a complete done-for-you service. And this would do everything that I do, but for the investors. So I would conduct all market research to identify the fastest growing resort communities. I would find the ideal properties that matched my specific criteria. I would perform comprehensive due diligence and underwriting, and I would handle all the acquisition logistics. I would assist with financing options and self-directed IRA setup, and provide ongoing support throughout the whole process. The response was overwhelming. Even professional builders began hiring me to find lots for them. So several would call me up on the phone. They would say, Michael, I need 3 to 5 lots at a time. And when they would build and sell the homes, they'd come back and ask for more. I became a trusted source for high quality lots because I was able to identify better opportunities than they could on their own. So it started as a strategy to help rebuild my wealth, turned into a full-time done-for-you program to help build other people's wealth. By handling the complex research and due diligence that most investors struggle with, we allow our clients to focus on what matters most, building wealth through vacant lots, but without the headaches of traditional real estate. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I want to be sure you understand how these 8 strategies combined go into one powerful formula. It boils down to this: only invest in properties that meet all of my criteria. They must be below $20,000 purchase price. They must be in an established resort community with lots of amenities. They must be near, but not directly on lakes and golf courses. They must be quarter acre to 1 acre wooded lots. They must be fully buildable with utilities available. They must be in areas with clear growth indicators. They must be in the sweet spot in the development cycle, up to 10% built out, but not much more. They must be with potential for owner financing when selling, and ideally held in a tax-advantaged account like a self-directed real estate Roth IRA. When you combine these specific criteria with our research-driven approach to finding high-growth areas, you create a system that produces long-term returns, passive income, and all tax-free. This isn't theory or speculation. This is the exact system that I used to rebuild my wealth after complete financial devastation in 2005. And it's the same system I've now helped hundreds of people implement with similar results. So now let me show you exactly where we're finding these great opportunities that meet all of my criteria and exactly how you can get started. So here's a photo of a beautiful, good-sized house that also has a workshop in the back. And as you know, A lot of places don't even allow that. Well, this subdivision is not so difficult. They allow people to have a workshop in the back where you can keep all your toys, or if you like to work on things, or maybe you store your boats in there, or your jet skis, things like that. In this slide, you can see that there's plenty of amenities. They've got tennis courts, they've got swimming pools, they've got pickleball, and plenty of parking, and of course, clubhouse for people to enjoy. Then comes the marina. The marina is huge. You can either store a boat there and park it, or you can just go ahead and use it to launch your boat and then spend time on the beautiful Table Rock Lake. This photo is of a map, a plat map that gives you an idea of exactly what a lot would look like. So when our staff finds your lots for you, we will be giving you a plat map just like this that shows exactly where your lot is in the subdivision. You're going to be able to see exactly what the lot is, the block number, and what unit number, so you can exactly find where your lot is at in the subdivision. So in this case, this particular lot that we're looking at right here is block 1, lot 10. So let's take a look at the photo of the lot now. Let's go from the map to the photo. So here's an example of what a common lot would look in there. And if you notice, it's got trees on it. Well, that's on purpose. If you remember, I told you before that we only want to buy lots that have trees on them so we don't have to mow the lawn. We don't want to spend money on mowing grass every 2 weeks. So this lot is on a paved road with a beautiful view and, of course, wooded, so there's no grass to cut. This map is a Google Earth map that shows what the lot looks like on Google Earth. So now you can see it is still block 1, lot 10, and you can see that there's some lots, both front and back of this, that are still available. And you can see that there's already homes in there. And in this case, you can see that there's not that many homes. That's why the prices are still so cheap. If this was already finished, these lots could potentially be worth $80,000 or maybe $100,000 when the subdivision is all the way complete. That's why we buy in subdivisions at the beginning and not at the end. Here's another view, another Google Earth view of the vacant lot right here. So you can see there's paved roads, beautiful trees, and homes being built all around through the subdivision. There's one more zoomed out photo of that lot right there, block 1, lot 10. And now we're going to show you a different lot. So this one now is block 7, lot 37. And again, it's a wooded lot on a paved road, very simple, and right around between a 1/4 acre to a 1/2 acre. Here's what the lot looks like, kind of a rectangle shape. Now, here it is in the right-hand corner here. You can look down to the right and see that little green patch. That's where it's at on the bigger map. Here's another example. This one is block 10, lot 8. Again, you can see clearly it's on a paved road, and these all have sewer and water, which is a big plus. So there's no well, no septic. It's all sewer and water. And again, you can see wooded lot, just like I like them. Here's that same lot again, block 10, lot 8. You can see it now on a map, and it's next to a church, which is perfect. And here's that lot in the right-hand corner here at the very bottom. You can see that green patch. That's the actual lot on a map, block 10, lot 8. Now, this particular lot is block 3, lot 15. Looks very similar on a paved road. This one's a longer lot. Beautiful plot of land, and you can see there's rooftops around the neighborhood there. Bottom in the middle is the green patch. That's where the lot is at. You can see it's not far from the lake and not far from the marina, less than a mile. So it's perfect. Here's another example. Block 9, lot 14. Paved road, wooded, exactly what I like. These are the lots that I buy as fast as I can because I know that one day I'll probably be able to sell them at a much higher price if I just wait my turn and let them appreciate. Here's that same lot. Block 9, lot 14. You can see it right there. Same thing here, zoomed out. Another example here, block 9, lot 18. Same thing, wooded lot, paved road. Here it is right here. There happens to be a house on the right side of this one. You can see it right there. A couple of houses on the right. And it's a good sized lot. That's probably a little bit less than the 1/2 acre, I'll bet. Here's the map of it. You can see it in the right-hand corner. You see that green patch in the bottom right-hand corner? That's where the lot is at. And off to your left is where the lake is at. Okay. That sums up the beautiful vacant lot examples. I hope that helps clear up any confusion on what they look like or where they're located in the subdivision. Now, I can talk about this subdivision all day long, but that's just words. I want you to physically see what the subdivision really looks like. So I'm going to show you a quick video that is amazing, that shows exactly what Holiday Island looks like, and you'll have a much better idea after watching this. Let's take a look.
Where the Ozark Mountains meet the pristine waters of Table Rock Lake, there's a place where the sunrise is bright and clear and sunsets cast a warm glow. Welcome to Holiday Island, Arkansas, where every day feels like a getaway. Imagine waking up to 800 miles of shoreline and wooded trails as your playground. This 4,500-acre planned and full-service community combines outdoor adventure with modern convenience. Just 5 miles north of historic Eureka Springs, known for Victorian architecture and cultural festivals, and an hour from Branson, Missouri's entertainment hub, Holiday Island offers a unique blend of natural beauty and small-town charm, making it an ideal place for families and retirees looking for an active yet peaceful place to call home. Cast the line into our waters for world-class fishing. Explore our limestone bluffs and dense forests that provide breathtaking vistas and wildlife encounters, or tee off on our 18-hole championship course. Our full-service marina offers boat rentals, fishing guides, and lakeside dining. Tennis and pickleball courts, swimming pools, hiking trails, and a fitness center are steps away. These amenities aren't just features. They're where connections are made. Core infrastructure includes paved roads, central water and sewer systems, and reliable utilities. Our building department is easy to work with, so permits are obtained quickly and affordably. And the community has seen significant growth in housing prices and new construction activity. Additionally, on-site medical clinics and pharmacies provide peace of mind, while our shopping center offers a supermarket, hardware store, restaurant, and post office for everyday convenience. There are 3 fire stations and 24/7 security via the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. And families with young children benefit from safe neighborhoods, outdoor education, activities, and nearby schools. Imagine a place where mountain vistas meet lakeside living, a community built for adventure, relaxation, and connection. Your dream awaits in Holiday Island. It's not just a destination, it's a lifestyle.
So I hope you guys liked that video as much as I did. That was amazing. That video is exactly what I wanted you guys to see and why I love this subdivision so much. So right now, we currently have some really good pricing on these lots in Holiday Island. So for example, I'm able to put them out to you at $10,000 a lot. And that means $10,000 flat, no closing costs, no extra fees. I mean, right out the door at $10,000 a lot. Now, depending on your financial situation, you have 3 options to invest with us. The first one is very simple. For long-term appreciation, just like I do. In other words, I want you to hold these lots for as long as you can, because I feel that the longer you hold them, the better you'll do. Now, there's different ways to purchase these lots. For example, some of my clients have used their IRA that they have at Schwab or Fidelity or Bank of America, for example, and they did an IRA rollover, which we helped them with. And then they were able to go ahead and use money from their IRA by liquidating some of their current holdings. For example, some of my clients sold off some of their stocks that maybe weren't doing so well, or maybe have been down for too long and they're not getting any results. Some of them have sold off mutual funds because slow return that they're getting, and they've liquidated those and instead switched them to vacant lots. I'm not saying that they took money out of their IRA because that would cause a penalty. I'm saying that they just do an IRA rollover and move the IRA to a self-directed IRA, which is called a real estate IRA, and that gives you the ability to now use the cash from selling off stocks or mutual funds and put it into vacant lots instead, and simply hold those in that IRA for as long as you can. The other thing you can do is open up a brand new IRA and use money from your business, from your job, where you've paid taxes already. So after tax dollars, you're able to go ahead and contribute into your IRA $7,000 a year. The other thing you can do is use your old 401k plan. Many of you have an old 401k plan that is still sitting at the previous company where you used to work. Well, that's probably stuck in stocks and mutual funds and the same old that everybody else does. Well, many of my clients and students have rolled over their 401k plan into an administrator, which handles self-directed IRAs, which means you're allowed to buy real estate, and then they liquidated some of their stocks and mutual funds and were able to then use that money to acquire several lots, whether 2 lots or 5 lots or 10 lots, whatever it is that you can afford. The other thing you can do is use your current 401k plan where you currently still work. In other words, if you still work at a company, you're not legally able to move that IRA out of there because you can't do that until you quit. And you certainly are not going to take it out and get a penalty. But you're legally able to borrow from your current 401k plan up to $50,000, but usually they allow you to borrow half of what's in there. So if you had 100 grand in there, you could borrow up to 50,000. If you had only 20 grand in your current 401k plan, they'll probably let you borrow 10,000. So when I say borrow, that means that you're borrowing your own money. Your own money goes from your 401k plan to yourself, and that allows you to buy vacant lot instead of the same old mutual funds and stocks that you've been brainwashed to do all of your life. Now, the other thing, of course, would be to buy them in cash. So if those of you that have cash in your bank or in an LLC or something like that, that also works. Now, some of my investors and students have used their stock brokerage account. Now, obviously, you can't buy them in a stock brokerage account, but you can liquidate stocks or mutual funds or any other holdings you have in there, or maybe cash if you have it in there, and use that by taking it home and putting it into an LLC or something, and then buying vacant lots with that money. So moving some things around in your current stock and mutual fund portfolio could be a brilliant idea. So take a close look at what you currently have and what kind of things you can shift. And that would be my best recommendation, is to use those type of entities to start to acquire vacant lots, and try to think about adding on more lots every year, just like I do. So if you thought about adding on 2 lots a year or 5 lots a year or 10 lots a year, now 10 years go by and pretty soon you have a portfolio of real estate rather than a portfolio of mutual funds and stocks, which I think are a joke. Now, the best thing that you can do is hold these lots for long term. Some of you might want to flip them, and that's okay. But from my experience, after all the mistakes I made, if I would have kept all of the lots that I have sold in the past, they're much more profitable now than they would have been if I would have just kept them. So in other words, if I would have kept them longer, 10 years longer, 5 years longer, 20 years longer, the difference is astronomical. So I learned a big lesson. I hold them long term, and that's kind of what I'm suggesting for you as well. So now option number 2 is for passive income. Many of you have told me that you're looking for passive income, and that's understandable because vacant lots can produce passive income. It did for me. Now, it's not the same as renting out a house where you have a tenant, upkeep, and hassles and so on. In this case, when I say passive income, I mean selling a vacant lot on terms where you become the bank. That means that you allow someone to buy your vacant lot either in your LLC or in your IRA or using your old 401k plan or in your name for that matter, and be able to have someone make you payments on time on the first of the month every month. Maybe it's for 5 years, maybe it's for 7 years or 10 years. But either way, you can negotiate an interest rate, maybe 10%, maybe 12, maybe even 15%. And the reason why is because that people that want to buy your land may not have a down payment, or maybe they don't have good credit. And that's okay. It doesn't matter to me if they have good credit. It doesn't matter to me if they have a down payment, because I'm not going to give them the deed until they've made their last payment. That's what you would do. So for example, if someone's making you payments on terms for the next 5 years, if they default, you have the right to send them notice and make sure that they have a chance to cure the default. And if they don't, then you have the right to sell the lot to someone else. And that person that was making you payments would end up losing their monthly payments they made to you. So the idea is that if you had multiple lots, all cash flowing every month, and each payment coming in was $500, if you had 10 lots, that's $5,000 a month coming into maybe a self-directed Roth IRA, which is all tax-free, or maybe coming into your LLC where you have to pay some taxes on it, or or coming into your name. Either way, you can make your portfolios cash flow, but the problem is that if you sell them too soon using this method, then the next person benefits from all of the appreciation from here on out. So if the lots were to go up higher after you sell them, where they double again in 5 or 10 years and they double again in another 10 or 20 years, then you don't get all of that because you sold it at a certain price and you're just getting the monthly cash flow. Hopefully you made the profit and hopefully you're making a good interest rate. So that's another scenario, is basically in-house financing where you become the bank and they pay you on time. And once they've made your final payment to you, you transfer the deed and they own it free and clear from then on out. Now, no one can build on that property if they're making you payments because they don't own it yet. So there's no one that can start making payments to you and all of a sudden start building a house, because the bank would never give them a construction loan anyway. The bank's not going to give them a construction loan when you don't even own it under title yet. The only time that the person would get a construction loan is when they paid you off. So once they pay you off and there's no more lien on the property and it's free and clear, then the bank would give your new buyer a loan to build their new house. Now, option number 3 is called in-house financing. Now, some people just don't have enough money to buy a lot for $10,000 or $11,000 or $12,000, etc. But we offer in-house financing where if you need some help, we don't mind helping. You can put half down and make monthly payments on the rest until you've paid it all. Maybe that's over 3 years. Maybe it's over 5 years. Maybe it's only over 1 year. And we can discuss that individually when you're ready. Now, some people actually use me for leverage. In other words, they have the money to buy the lots in cash, but instead they use leverage just like I did. So remember when I told you before that I use leverage to acquire many of my lots? You can do the same thing. For example, if a vacant lot is $10,000, you can put $5,000 down and make payments on the other $5,000 over time. So instead of buying 5 lots in cash, you can buy 10 lots on terms. So understand, instead of buying 5 lots for $10,000 each, which is 50 grand, you can instead control 10 instead of owning 5. What do you think would be better in the long run, usually? Owning 5 or controlling 10? For me, the leverage is what got me ahead faster, especially doing that in a self-directed Roth IRA. So by buying vacant lots on terms, I was able to control way more real estate than I had the money for. So many of my clients and students do the same thing. They'll buy 10 lots on terms instead of 5 lots for cash, just for example. So at this point, you probably have a lot of questions, and that's completely normal, no problem. As you can see on the screen, here are some of the typical questions that my investors have asked. And this ranges from specifics about Holiday Island, like how to purchase lots on Holiday Island through our company, or how to set up a self-directed real estate IRA, and the whole process from beginning to end. We believe in 100% transparency in everything we do. So these type of questions require time, and we don't have that kind of time today to go through all of them. So that's why I created 2 in-depth FAQ videos that I'd like to share with you. First, here's a Holiday Island FAQ video that explains everything about our current high-growth resort community. Second, there's a self-directed real estate IRA video that answers all the questions you can imagine about the common questions about using your IRA to buy real estate. These videos will answer the common questions and address any concerns that you might have before moving to the next step. So speaking of the next steps, I'm going to leave you with 3 options today. So option number 1 is to do nothing. Continue with the traditional investments that you have and hope for different results. Keep your money in the stock market, mutual funds, or sitting in low interest accounts while watching others build wealth through real estate. But option number 2 is to do it yourself. Spend years learning through trial and error, just like I did, make a lot of mistakes, struggle through research, and eventually figure it out. But option number 3 is start investing in as little as 60 days or so. Have my team implement my strategy all done for you. Skip the learning curve, avoid the mistakes, and leverage our decades of experience to start building wealth immediately. This strategy does involve risk, and your results will depend on personal circumstances and market conditions, obviously. So you will have to decide which of these paths is right for you. But what I will say is I have helped hundreds of investors implement this system. I mean, anyone from doctors to veterinarians to teachers to plumbers, electricians, you name it. People that are busy that just don't have time to do all this themselves. There's so much involved, and we do it all for you. So business owners that are seeking tax advantages and passive income, definitely we can help you. Pre-retirees who need to accelerate their wealth building, yes, we can help you. People just like you who want a better approach to investing, yes, we can help you. The question isn't whether the system works, it's just whether it's right for you or not. So if you're ready to get started, I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number, and all you need to do is text me the words vacant lots. And of course, I need your first and last name. I need both your first name and your last name in order to help you. I will then send you a qualification checklist. You can fill it in so we can then see if you qualify for a one-on-one investing consultation with our team. Now, we can only work with a limited number of investors each month, and opportunities may be limited based on current availability. I see a text just came in. That's perfect. So we're about to wrap things up here. Again, if you're interested in learning more about vacant lot and how to put this system to work for you, all you've got to do now is text me the word vacant lot and your first and your last name, and one of us will get back to you and get that checklist over to you as soon as possible. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you spending time with me, and we're going to wrap this up now. I look forward to a long-term friendship and helping you with your investing strategies for years to come. Thank you, everyone, for watching that. I hope it was beneficial. I want to open it up for questions right now. Eric, I know that you've been following the chat for me, and I appreciate that. What do you find in there that I can answer some questions for anybody?
Looks like Gene Tolentino asked if we're able to give this the recording of this copy of the
Absolutely.
video.
Yes, Gene. I'm not sure if I can't remember if Linda's going to send out the replay of this. If not, we have this replay that we can send out also. So once we have your name, email, and phone number, we'll go ahead and send you out the replay. So if you want to, in the chat, you're welcome to put in your name, email, and phone number and put in they're interested in vacant lots, and then we'll have one of us will contact you in the next couple of days to not only get you the replay, but also to do a consultation with you, a free consultation to discuss your goals and what do you need help with and what questions do you have. So no problem at all. Thanks, Gene. Anybody else at all? Any other questions on there that we need to address, Eric?
That was all the questions so far.
Okay, no worries. So does anybody here have any questions at all that would like to ask them right now? If so, go ahead and type them in the chat, or I don't know if we can unmute them, but either way, ask your questions. I'm here to help anyone that would like to know. Maria asks, are you on TX? What does that mean? Are you on TX?
Texas.
I'm in Florida.
Now, I think what Mario would like to know is if the lots are in Texas. Oh. They're next to Texas in beautiful Arkansas, which, being from Texas, you know, is a burgeoning state. It's growing rapidly, just like Texas, but it's a lot less than Texas. And this is a resort development, which has a lot of extra perks available. And it's just such a unique offering.
Yeah, the lots in Texas have gone up so much that they are now out of my criteria range and too expensive to take a risk on at this point. So that's why states like Arkansas have low prices, low cost of living, low taxes, low cost to build even. So everything is cheaper in Arkansas. And think about it. That's why Walmart put their headquarters in Arkansas. Same thing with Tyson Foods put their headquarters in Arkansas. So they did that because the land was cheap, the taxes were low, the cost of living were low, and people are moving there like crazy, building their dream home and working at some of those big companies as well. Anybody else have any questions that I missed?
Now, Mario says, great. He would like to discuss further And wonderful, Mario. We're so excited that you're interested in talking with Michael further about this. And the exciting part is that you're so close by that you could actually go visit and see the resort and see all the beautiful aspects of this development.
That's great. Mario, we'd be glad to set up a call with you sometime in the next few days or so, maybe Friday or Monday, and then we'll find out what your questions are, and we'll look at your personal situation. Anybody else have any questions that we missed?
Now, Michael, I would also like to add your cell phone
Yes,
to
absolutely.
this chat because last time we added it, and I believe it was very beneficial that people immediately started texting you.
Yep. So, Eric, if you could pop it in there for me.
Yes.
Thank you. Feel free to text me on your phone, and always remember to put your first and last name and also vacant lot so I sure know what it is.
Now, may I have your number, Michael?
Yes,
Because
it
I
is
don't have it with me.
954. Yep, so
954.
258
Mm-hmm.
6954.
That is 954-258-6954. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Well, it
you
looks
so
like we
much.
answered a lot of questions. Anybody else that have anything here before we wrap it up?
Now, also, would it be possible to share your email address, Michael?
Sure. It's Michael, Michael, at themillionairesgroup.com. So that's Michael at TheMillionaires group, GROUP.com. You got it. Well, we covered a lot of stuff today, and I'm sure it's hard to remember all that, I'm sure. So for those of you that have questions, don't worry, we'll get them answered. And some of you have questions about your own IRA or your own 401k plan or your current 401k plan, things like that. We'll be able to advise you on that. So look forward to speaking to you, and also a friendship with all of you. So any of you that would like to reach out to me and pick my brain will be available. Let's get some progress. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Linda. Thank you, Eric, for your assistance. I really appreciate your helping me today. And what a great day we had. We had 2 good webinars today, and look forward to working with all of you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Be sure to reach out to Michael, book an appointment to get more information. And I really appreciate you being on this webinar. Take good care. Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.